Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And there's a pay request for Durst Momsen for Life. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, request any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, whatever the case may be, movie commentaries, reactions, to whatever videos you want me to, video game playthrough for an hour or full playthrough, whatever the case. PayPal is usually the best bet. I do have a Patreon and CashApp because people have asked about those. And I'll get to it as soon as I can. Links are down below in the info box if you wish to, and for those who've sent it, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And this is for Hollywood Homicide, as I did a drink here. Came out in 2003. Now this is a film I actually saw in the theater back in the day. Because 2003 I was living in a different part of Texas where I was probably within... Even if I just walked it, well, I mean, I could take a bus and get there pretty easily. And I would go to the theater pretty much every week, so a lot of films 2003 I saw in the theater, whether it be even Kangaroo Jack, was it Identity, The Matrix Reloaded, The Matrix Revolutions, Terminator 3, Hulk, Too Fast, Too Furious. A lot of other stuff. I think was Identity 2003? I can't remember. Dreamcatcher, I think, was... Anyway, a lot of films. And this is one of them. Now, when the film came out, it was a big box office bomb. Credits tore it apart. Ron Shelton directed the film. He did White Man Can't Jump and Bull Durham, two good movies. Harrison Ford called it the worst film he ever did. And, okay, this is not the best film he ever did. No, but this is not the worst film no, it's not the worst film you ever done, dude. You did Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Okay, I'd rather watch this than, what was that film you did? Paranoia, that no one remembers. I mean, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I'd rather watch this film than any of those two. You were in The Last Jedi, but I'd rather watch this than that film either, as well. This is a film that I thought was fun. It's not classic. I probably, honestly, liked this a little bit less than when I saw it in theaters. But I thought it was at least an entertaining time waster. It does have its flaws. It does. But I thought that the cast especially, it was fun to see them in these roles. The movie, I thought, went, for the most part, at a good pace. And I definitely thought the last third of the film, like the last 40 minutes, things really picked up. At least to me. And yeah, maybe it's just because I like Harrison Ford, even cranky Harrison Ford, and him just having a bit of fun, and especially in the later part of the movie, being a big fan of his brought a little bit of joy to me. I like Josh Hartnett. If you don't like him, this ain't going to win you over. But I like him. Ever since I saw The Faculty and Halloween H2O, never minded the guy. So they star as police partners. They have little stories going on. Harrison Ford, he has this real estate deal that he's trying to settle so he can get out of debt. And that's like a running joke throughout it. Granted, a bit too much. Because a bit too many times they bring up the whole real estate thing. Now, there are moments that's brought up that's kind of funny. Like, in the third act, there's a bit in an elevator where he's not realizing he's got his gun out and some ladies are scared. And the way he sounded like a hitman, but he's doing a real estate close. Like, the way he approaches that scene, I thought that was kind of funny. But again, one too many times, especially in the middle, they bring that back up. But that's what's going on with him. He's also going out with this lady who she says she's a psychic. I like the actress. I thought her and Harrison Ford actually worked well together. I thought they actually were a good couple. The couple bits we see of them. Josh Hartnett, he teaches yoga. He's a bit more of a Zen, Namaste, all that stuff. He also has a little bit of backstory where his dad was a cop and died on duty. And it might have been because of this crooked cop played by Dwight Yoakam. And that's the thing, like, not just Harrison Ford and Josh Hartnett, but the rest of the cast is pretty stacked. At least for someone like me that grew up in this era of films. You have the internal affairs guy, played by Bruce Greenwood, who's been in a lot of stuff. I think people know him most now for as Pike in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. But he's done a lot of stuff. Keith David from John Carpenter's The Thing and They Live. He is our two leads boss. Isaiah Washington, who was in films like Exit Wounds with Steven Seagal. He plays the bad guy here, as does Dwight Yoakam, who's another villain. Martin Landau is in the film as a guy who Harrison Ford is trying to do this real estate deal with him, this other guy. Master P is in the film. Smokey Robinson, yes, the singers. Track of my teeth. Smokey Robinson's in the film as a cab driver, where Harrison Ford steals his cab in the third act. I'm like, is that who the hell I think it is? Yes, Smokey Robinson. Lou Diamond Phillips has a scene in the movie as this undercover. He's cross-dressing because he's undercover as a hooker. He goes in and he tells Harrison Ford a tip, and then we never see him again. Sad that that's the only time we see Lou Diamond Phillips, because I'm a fan. LDP for life. I love The First Power, Young Guns, etc. La Bamba. So it's sad he was only in one scene. I wish he was in the film longer. I wonder if there was more stuff to him that was cut out. I don't know. But anyway, still nice to see him in there. Even at the very beginning of the film, there are hitmen, two hitmen, that go into this club and they kill this rap group, H2O Click, I believe are their names, who worked for this guy, Sartain, I believe that was the character's name, Isaiah Washington. And you find out later why that happened. But one of the two hitmen is Anthony Mackie, a very young Anthony Mackie. The guy would be Falcon. So it's funny how it's come full circle. Like, one of the first films, I don't know, was it the first? Maybe not, but one of the first films Anthony Mackie is in is Hollywood Homicide. And then almost 20 years later, now they're doing Captain America, the Brave and the Bold. So I wonder if there's any interviews where that comes up. But, I mean, granted, they're not on screen together, to be fair. Okay, I guess it'd be like his third film. Well, no, he was in 8 Mile, a short film, and then Hollywood Homicide. So, technically his second film. By the end, I'm sitting there going, is that Anthony Mackie? And it was. And I like Anthony Mackie as an actor. So it was cool watching the end to see him in there. Of course, he has nothing to do, but yeah. It's nice to see, again, kind of this serendipitous, they're in the same film together, but not in the same scene, and now they'll be working together in this Brave and the Bold film, you know, again, more than 20 years later. Just by the time, I mean, yeah. Just, yeah, this is 2003. Now, as the film goes on, Harrison Ford and Josh Hartnett are on the case, looking to who killed this rap group, looking for clues. And, you know, the plot is not going to be anything too much new. You say it's maybe predictable. Maybe it drags a bit in the middle of the film. You know, does every joke work? No. Sometimes Harrison Ford is a bit too dry. He's a bit too... I know you say that's normal for Harrison Ford, but there were a couple scenes where he just seemed a bit too lethargic. Yeah, just give me this, and then just give me that. I know some people say that's him all the time, but there are moments where he could really... Even in this film, I would say the last 40 minutes of the movie, the battery turns on. for Harrison Ford. And but that and the interrogation scene. The interrogation scene in the last 30, 40 minutes, I think like things really turn on a bit for him. And that's what I enjoyed the most out of Harrison. Again, the first half, sometimes a little bit too drowsy, you know. But still, maybe I'm being too lenient on it, but I still like Harrison Ford. I didn't mind his dialogue with Josh Hartnett. Again, even though at times it wasn't the funniest, the one bit you see in the trailer where you think he's going to get information, but then Harrison Ford gives him an order of food, cheeseburger, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's a few dialogues here. There's some that works. Another one that you saw in the trailer where Josh Hartnett says, I don't want to be an actor anymore. I mean, I don't want to be a cop anymore. I want to be an actor. And Harrison Ford looks at him and goes, you're gay. I understand that. I get it. So sometimes his deadpan works for the proceedings. Same with when Josh Hartnett sees what he thinks is a hooker going to Harrison Ford's car. We know it's Diamond Phillips who's undercover cop, but then later on, Harrison Ford looks up. Oh no, that was a guy. Hey, that don't matter. No, that's him trying to explain it. Great, he could have just simply said he was an undercover cop. It would have fixed everything. But if he did that, then there wouldn't be the joke, and it'll be up to you whether that was funny or not. But again, even though it's not in the realm of buddy cop films, it's not Tango and Cash. It's not Lethal Weapon. It's not... You say Beverly Hills Cop in a way is, you know, in 1 and 2 are buddy cop films. Just 3 guys, but... You know, it's not those movies. It's not going to be my top 10 of buddy cop movies. But I like that genre. I'm a sucker for it. I like it more than some of the ones I've seen, like Ride Along 2, National Security, among others. And I think the cast makes it work. I like while the musical score is really nothing to run home about, the direction of the film, there's not much action until the third act. There's like a little foot chase. There's a little bit where they get shot at. But there's really no action until the last third of the film. So I wish there was more action I wish there's really no action in the first half. Other than the quick bit where the rappers get killed. But I said I wish there was some action in the first half. It is an action comedy. And you kind of sitting there going, well, where's the action? You know, where is it? So I wish there was more action in the first half of the film. I think that could have helped. Maybe that's why when it got to the middle it felt a little bit slow. It's kind of like, can we have like some shootout scene or something happening? But there were moments that did make me up. The end, spoilers, if I stop stuttering. You know, I liked the bit where Harrison Ford dancing to Track of My Tears. I thought that was kind of humorous. It was nice to see Harrison Ford do some different stuff. I mean, we mostly know him for Indiana Jones, Star Wars, you know, that one type of character. Although they're different, but yeah, just him seem a bit more sillier, a bit more goofing off. Maybe because I like the actor. At times, I'm kind of... It seems like they're having fun, so I kind of have fun. I know that on Wikipedia, which granted, I know that isn't 100% truthful. It said that apparently Josh Hartnett and Harrison Ford did not get along. That apparently, like, Josh Hartnett really wanted to work with Harrison Ford, and he took the film just to work with him, and he had reverence, you know, respect for Ford. But I guess Harrison Ford either called him a punk, or didn't really like him, or didn't really take to him. Although, I mean, you look at Harrison Ford, how grouchy he is. Like, you look at, that Comic-Con stuff that was recently. He did not want to be there. He didn't. You like every interview, he's like he's grouchy, Scrooge, Mr. Scrooge. Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, what? You're rich as hell. You play some of the most iconic characters in film history. I think aren't you married to someone like much younger? Like, what more do you want, dude? What more do you want? Like, come on, take the stick out of your ass. I like the Harrison Ford, but what the hell, dude? But then I know there's an interview when Josh Hartnett did the film Trap. I guess someone mentioned that it's a little over the 20-year anniversary of this film. And he said, "Oh, I would like to work with Harrison Ford despite the weird rumors online." Maybe that's what he read. And now, granted, either A, they're not true, or B, he's just saying that because, it's 20 years ago. If I tell the truth, what does it matter? It could be that too. Because Josh Hartnett seems like a nice guy. You never really hear anything bad about him. Trap was an awful movie, but it wasn't because of him. It was because M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong wrote it and directed it. And then half the film was his daughter, who can't sing for squat, being the star. But Josh Hartnett was not the problem. Trust me. But maybe he's like, what point is, what would I get out of it by saying that? Which is true. If he said it, people would be like, oh, Josh Hartnett's just jealous and Harrison Ford's the man. And he would yell, I mean, even though he didn't do it and Harrison Ford would be the bad guy, Josh would still get blamed and always a baby. Why don't he get over it? I'm like, he was asked a question, but there'd be no win for him. So I can understand why. I think either A, it's true what he said, there was nothing went wrong in the, fighting or whatever. Or B, it ain't worth telling the truth in this aspect. I do see that. But anyway, getting back to this. I could kind of see that in the movie in a way where, if I think of partners throughout the years, Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell, Nick Nolte, Eddie Murphy. These two guys didn't have the most crackling chemistry compared to those guys. And there are times where a lot of the film is them separated from each other, now that I think about it. So that's why I wonder either maybe there is a bit of truth to that. Because a lot of the movie, they are kind of separated. It's Harrison Ford doing this, and then Josh Hartnett doing that, and etc. So there's not a whole lot of scenes where they really get to work together. I mean, there are, but there aren't. I don't know how else to put it. But at the same time, I will admit, while I don't mind Josh Hartnett, I think he does fine in the movie. The best bits to me are with Harrison Ford, whether it be the internal affairs that he's commingling funds, and Harrison's like, oh yeah, I am commingling funds because my alimony I commingle with my beer money, and that money I commingle with this money. Oh yeah, well fuck you very much. I thought that was funny. When they're trying to get to Isaiah Washington, this guy is stopping them, and Harrison Ford sucker punches him. I like that bit. I thought that was pretty funny. There's a bit where you don't see too much, but Harrison Ford's about ready to have a love scene. I didn't think that you don't see too much. You just see enough where he's kissing her, then reaches down and gets a donut, and then she looks and she laughs. This is a Top's donut, but I thought the way that was done was cute. Certain lines they give Harrison Ford, I just want to steal, but my dit's still attached to my body. I kind of laughed at that line. There's a foot chase where the guy who's a witness to the crime, he goes in and out of the water, and Josh Hartnett is trying to get him, and then Harrison Ford outwits him by getting his car to the right spot, tripping the guy, and capturing him. Although, to be honest, like, they capture the guy, the witness. But the more I think about it, nothing really came out of that. I mean, they capture the witness, they bring him in, but even though they bring him in, you never see that guy again. Because instead, like, Internal Affairs brings them in, and then they realize that they only got so much time, and Harrison Ford gets help from his girlfriend, and then you pretty much get into this chase in this pretty lengthy action sequence in your finale. And then this one girl who Harrison Ford knew, who someone about a witness or someone, she's going to make a deal with Bruce Greenwood. She's going to lie about him, so he's going to be arrested or suspended. And so he's got to find a way to prove that Bruce Greenwood is part of the bad guys and stop Isaiah Washington and Dwight Yoakam. But again, the witness they caught, they never really do anything with at the end. So I thought that was kind of weird with the story. And that's what I mean, like, watch it again. I did notice a few more flaws. I still enjoyed it as a time waster, but it's no The Last Boy Scout. It's no Showdown Low Tokyo. But do I think it's fun time waster? Did I think it was as bad as people made it out to be? Did I think it was the worst film ever? No. If it's a rainy day, I pop it in, had a good enough time, and then I probably don't see it for another 10 years or so. But, I've seen much worse movies too. Because, like, when they're brought into Internal Affairs, and that's a fun bit of business where, okay, Josh Hartnett's doing all this yoga stuff, and the lady taught him is being more and more impressed. But Harrison Ford, his was even funnier, where his phone keeps going off, and then him and the other guy interrogating him start playing, like, tag, where they start sizing each other, and Harrison Ford keeps getting his phone, and, like, there's, like, a montage where he keeps getting the phone, and the other guy's getting more and more pissed and agitated about it. I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, this is BS. And then, you know it! He's humping the glass to piss off Bruce Greenwood. I thought that was really funny. Calling the one guy a lightweight needle dip pencil pusher. And that's when, like, things start ratchet up, including Harrison Ford's emotions. He's getting more agitated, he's getting more energetic. His girlfriend's trying to help him. There's his valet. Welcome to Beverly Hills. I'm not in the mood. And then you get this big chase where they're on the road, they're on the sidewalk. They go over a jump. They switch drivers. Before they go on one side, they crash the car. They both have to split up. Josh goes after Dwight Yoakam. Harrison goes after Isaiah Washington. Harrison Ford growls at a little kid and steals her bike, and he's riding, and he flips off the damn car. He steals a cab, and it's Smokey Robinson driving it. There's the bit where he just in the elevator, like he scares the girls, he's got the gun waving around, and he's closing the deal, but then they don't know what's going on. Like, there's some fun stuff to be said there. Even the stuff with Josh Hartnett, like he steals a car. No, you're not going to die. Well, I mean, you will die sometime, but I mean, it's him not explaining it the right way. I kind of wish more of this energy was in the first half of the film. If some of this energy was put into the first half, I think it would have made a bit. Like I say, if they cleaned up a few of the plot lines, plot themes, plot strings, a little bit less of the real estate stuff in the middle. Bring it back at the end, that's fine, but a little bit less in the middle. A little bit more to that witness, like what was really gained. Maybe something I missed, so if so, I apologize. And like I said, put a bit more action in the first half, a bit more of maybe, I don't know, maybe they're not assigned to the case yet. Maybe they're doing a couple little jobs here and there. Kind of like Dirty Harry, like a Dirty Harry movie where you have the big crime, but then you see Dirty Harry as a cop doing these other little things. Getting a jumper. Even Lethal Weapon. And they don't do a whole lot, but you have the one jumper. Do you really want to jump? So it's not a whole lot, but you have a little bit. The show would show to you a little bit more of their relationship, a little bit more how differently they looked at situations and at. Maybe a little bit of that. To show a little bit of the camaraderie or lack thereof between Harrison Ford and Josh Hartnett's characters. Like I said, just a little bit more action in the first half, I think, would have worked fairly well. But I did like the finale. I did spoilers. I did like the last bit where there's a Streetcar Named Desire play that Josh Hartnett does, and it's purposely bad. Like, the acting is bad, the way Josh is playing is bad. They're changing stuff, but the light showing them in silhouette. People fumbling about and not getting the right cues. I like that because I don't know, for some reason, I know plays aren't like that, but for some reason this felt more realistic to me. They didn't try to make you, oh wow, he's actually a pretty good actor. He's like, he even says later, I don't think I'm that much of an actor. And then the way it ends, they're just going to another crime scene and it continues. I kind of like that. They're in the middle of another case and it's another day in Hollywood and the movie's over. So I thought that was a nice way to end it. So yeah, I like the cast. The movie got some chuckles on me. I think the finale, the last 34 minutes, they really amped up the energy, and I thought was fairly fun. Like I said, the first half could use a bit of an energy bump, a bit more action, a little less, real estate stuff. But overall, like I said, I liked the film. Do I love it? Would I defend it being criminally underrated? No, but again, I thought it was a fun enough time waster, especially compared to movies today. With a lot of movies compared to today, I would gladly watch this. It's not a classic, it's not an underrated gem, but you know what? I had some fun with it, and sometimes that's all you need, even if it has some flaws to it. So with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.